ብዙዎቻችሁ ትደውሉና ቤቲ
እንግሊዘኛ መጽሐፍ በጣም አነባለሁ ግን መናገር ላይ አልቻልኩኝም።
ሌሎቻችሁ ደግሞ ደውላችሁ
ብዙ ቃላቶች ሸምብጃለሁ ግን ንግግር ላይ የት እንደሚቀርቡብኝ አላውቅም
ትሉኛላችሁ። ሌሎቻችሁ ደግሞ ደውላችሁ
ቪዲዮቻችሁ ወጥቶ ያለው ግን I don't know how to speak well
እያላችሁ ነው። የዛሬ ቪዲዮአችን የሚሆነው how to speak better የሚለውን እናያለን ማለት ነው። ለመጀመር ዝግጁ ናችሁ? By the end of this video እንግሊዘኛ በደንብ አቀላጥፋችሁ መናገር እንድትለምዱ አደርጋችኋለሁ ማለት ነው። Let me start with the first tip. የመጀመሪያው ማወቅ ያለባችሁ ነገር ለእያንዳንዱ ቋንቋ okay you need practice. Maybe you guys are having lack of practice. This might not have for example አብዛኞቻችሁ ተማሪዎቻችን የሚሉት የምንኖርበት ቦታ እንግሊዘኛ በደንብ ተዘውትሮ አይወራም ወይም ደግሞ የምናወራው ሰው የለንም okay እንደዚህ አይነት ነገሮች ነው የሚሉት ይሄንን በምን አይነት መልኩ ማስተካከል ትችላላችሁ? አንደኛ there are many ways to practice English just by yourself okay ሌላ ሰው ሳያወራችሁ በራሳችሁ ብቻ እንዴት ማሻሻል ትችላላችሁ? First thing ለምሳሌ let's say your daily routine በወረቀት ጽፋችሁ okay we call that journaling. journal አድርጋችሁ የዕለት ተዕለት ዴይሊ ሩቲናችሁን በወረቀት ጽፉና እሱን በስልካችሁ ሪከርድ ታደርጉታላችሁ። ምን እያደረጋችሁ ነው? ስፒኪንግ እየተለማመዳችሁ ነው። ራይቲንግም እየተለማመዳችሁ ነው። ስፒኪንግም እየተለማመዳችሁ ነው። whatever is inside your head you just write it down in the piece of paper and then you record yourself. That's very important. Second thing ደግሞ fear of making mistakes. ሁሉም ሰው ስህተት ይሰራል okay especially አዲስ ቋንቋ ስንለምድ ስህተት መስራታችን የተለመደ ነው። ይሄንን ስህተታችሁን እንዴት ማስወገድ እንችላለን? ወይም ደግሞ ስህተት ብትሰሩ okay ከዛ ስህተት እየተማራችሁ ስለሆነ የምትሄዱት don't be afraid to make mistakes. Just say what's in your mind okay learn to speak well. በየቀኑ ስፒኪንግ ያደበራችሁ ካልሄዳችሁት there is no way speaking የምትችሉበት። ሌላኛው ደግሞ worrying about grammar rules, worrying about not knowing many vocabulary words. That's not important guys. ብዙዎቻችሁ የምትሸወዱት ምንድነው? እንግሊዘኛን ለመቻል ብዙ ቃል okay 100 ምናምን የሚባል ቃል okay like በጣም ብዙ ቃላቶች ወይም ደግሞ just like grammar በሸመደደ አይደለም. You need to forget about worrying about grammars, vocabulary words okay but instead of words ሁሌ እንደምላችሁ learn phrases okay instead of words learn phrases. Third thing ደግሞ እኔ የምመክራችሁ ነገር passive learning ነው. Usually our mind አንድ ነገር ትምህርት ብለን ከያዝነው it could be like a bit boring for us ወይም ደግሞ ትንሽ ሊያሰለቸን ይችላል. passive learning for example it could be through movies, it could be through podcast okay learn it unconsciously ወይም ደግሞ real time English የምንለውን ብትማሩ ለእናንተ more speaking ላይ እንድታዳብሩ ይረዳችኋል ማለት ነው. From now on I will give you 5 tips that will help you to speak English in a better way okay እንግሊዘኛ በተሻለ መልኩ እንድታወሩ የሚያደርጓችሁ 5 ቲፖችን እኔን የረዱኝ ልንገራችሁ። አንደኛ እንደነገርኳችሁ ነው practice passive learning. passive learning የምንለው our mind remembers things when we learn unconsciously ወይም ደግሞ ስራችን ብለን የተማርነው ነገርና just like ወይ በፊልም okay ወይ በፖድካስት ወይ በሙዚቃ የሰማነው ነገር የማስታወስ እድሉ it's completely different. Unconsciously when you passive learning ስትማሩ ለእናንተ it's really good. The other thing ደግሞ it's all about consistent practice okay every language needs consistent practice. You need to like ለምሳሌ ለአንድ ሳምንት ብቻ ፕራክቲስ አድርጋችሁ ሰልችቷችሁ ወይም ደግሞ ብዙ ቃል ሸምድዳችሁ እሱ ቃል ለመናገር ስታስቡት ሲጠፋባችሁ ላይ ከሰለቻችሁ then you guys are not doing it right. You need to be able to practice every day okay every day practice ማድረግ አለባችሁ. And the other thing ደግሞ building and focusing on fluency over okay perfection. አሁን እዚህ ጋር perfection የሚባል ነገር ማስወጣት አለባችሁ because like እንደነገርኳችሁ እንግሊዘኛ ስፒከር ሌቭል በ6 ነው ካቴጎሪ ያደረግነው. C1 እና C2 ሌቭሎች እንደሚያወሩት okay just perfectionist እነሱ ያው ማዘር ላንጉጃቸው ስለሆነ እነሱ ጋር ራሱ perfect እንግሊዘኛ ማያወራ በጣም ብዙ አለ. One thing you should know you should avoid perfection like perfect ለመሆን ሳይሆን መሞከር ያለባችሁ fluency ላይ ነው okay እነዛን የምታውቁትን ቃላት ወይም ደግሞ ፍሬዞች እንዴት in a word አወራዋለሁ ብላችሁ እሱ ላይ ፎከስ ማድረግ አለባችሁ. learn phrases not words. ለምን have የምትለውን ቃል ብቻ አውቃችሁ ምንም አታረጓትም. I have like for example መሄድ ይኖርብኛል I have to go. have to የምትለውን phrase እንደዚህ ብዙ ፍሬዞች ባወቃችሁ ቁጥር you will develop okay real life English የምንለው ለመልመድ አያቅታችሁ ማለት ነው. second thing ደግሞ ያልኳችሁ journal guys don't like make that thing በጣም ቀላል ነገር አታድርጉት. journaling is like very easy actually like you just write down what you feel. It could be about your emotion, it could be about what you go through, it could be about anything okay just የሚሰማችሁ ሊሆን ይችላል ወይ like ማድረግ ያሰባችሁትን ነገር even in the future ልታደርጉ ያሰባችሁትን ነገር በወረቀት ላይ ጽፉትና እንዳልኳችሁ record yourself okay, reading that out loud. So when you practice reading at the same time speaking ላይ ትለምዳላችሁ ማለት ነው። the other thing ደግሞ ሁለተኛው ቴክኒክ የምንለው okay ሁለተኛው ቴክኒክ shadowing ቴክኒክ እንለዋለን። this is highly recommended especially if you're learning a new language. እንዴት ነው የሚጠቅማችሁ shadowing ቴክኒክ ደግሞ okay mimicking intonation እና pronunciation ምን ማለት ነው mimicking intonation እና pronunciation የሚለው ነው። so whenever you hear native speakers talk እናንተ አብራችሁ like ፖዝ ያደረጋችሁ እሱን ነገር መልሶ መድገም። ይሄ የምጠቅማችሁ እንዴት ነው ከኛ በላይ እነሱ ቋንቋቸው ስለሆነ እንዴት እንደሚናገሩ okay pronunciation የቱ ጋር ልክ እንደሆነ you can find it out in a very easy way ማለት ነው። the other thing ደግሞ listen to real time okay real life sentence ወይም ደግሞ simple sentences የምንላቸው that you can use on daily conversations with people። ለምን አሁን አንድ ሰው በጣም ብዙ vocabulary ስለደረደረ ወይም ደግሞ ስለ grammar rule በደንብ ስላወቀ it doesn't mean that they can speak well. so እነዛን real life conversations okay እንዴት በትክክለኛ ህይወት ላይ real life ላይ መጠቀም እንችላለን እንግሊዘኛ ተማሩ instead of learning like perfection okay grammar perfect አይደለም so grammar እንዴት perfect ላድርገው okay እሱ when you go like step by በደንብ እያደጋችሁ ስትመጡ ወደ grammar focus ታደርጋላችሁ። mind you I'm not saying grammar like learning grammar is not important, of course it is, but if you want to speak better one thing you should focus the last thing you should focus on is grammar okay so you should just practice on real life conversations. and now ሌላኛው ደግሞ watching YouTube videos okay watching YouTube videos or English learning apps. so ከዚህ በፊት ሰርተንበት ነበር there are many English learning apps that you guys can just write down what you feel. ለምሳሌ የሆነን ቃል ጽፉለታላችሁ እሱ ያንን ቃል okay just በሳውንድ ይነግራችኋል ማለት ነው so ያንን መድገም ማለት ነው it's really easy guys. so እንደዚህ ያደረጋችሁ shadowing technique መልመድ ቻላችሁ። so እስካሁን ስንት ቲፕ አየን? ሁለት ቲፕስ። the first one is practicing okay so lack of practice ነው እናንተን struggle እያደረጋችሁ ወይ የምታውቁትን ነገር እንዲጠፋባችሁ የሚያደርገው it's because you guys don't practice it well. so መጀመሪያ don't forget to practice. how can we practice ብያችኋለሁ? by journaling okay ፕላናችንን ሊሆን ይችላል or what we feel ሊሆን ይችላል our daily routine ሊሆን ይችላል about our work ሊሆን ይችላል about our family whatever we feel we just write it down in a piece of paper okay and then we record that okay when we record we're speaking so we're like practicing speaking ላይ ማለት ነው። ሁለተኛው ደግሞ እንደነገርኳችሁ shadowing technique የምንለው ነው so shadowing technique is really important because like አንደኛው እንደነገርኳችሁ when you mimic intonation and pronunciation you will easily catch what they're saying okay like እንዴት እንደሚያነቡት እንዴት እንደሚነበብ real life or real simple sentences እንዴት መጠቀም እንደምትችሉ ታውቁታላችሁ ማለት ነው። the third tip that I give you guys is pretend to be in situations. so when I say pretend to be in situations ለምሳሌ just play like ጭንቅላታችሁ ላይ just create a scenario okay ለምሳሌ ምግብ ባዝ እንዴት አይነት እንግሊዘኛዎችን ልጠቀም እችላለሁ okay so pretend to be in situations. it's really helpful by the way guys. so this doesn't need any other people. of course የሚያወራቸው ሰው ቢገኝ it would be much helpful for you guys. ግን ከሌለም it's completely fine. you can do it by your own okay ከራሳችሁ ጋር ማውራት ትችላላችሁ. you just need your cell phone. so በስልካችሁ ብቻ ሪከርድ ያደርጋችሁ okay when you're speaking to your phone that means you're speaking to another person ማለት ነው. so you just pretend to be in a situation for example like I've told you it could be when ordering food when like anything okay ለምሳሌ ምግብ ልገዙ ስትሉ ወይም ልታዙ ስትሉ ወይም ደግሞ ዕቃ ልገዙ ስትሄዱ or ደግሞ let's say you're like hiring someone or getting interviewed so እንደዚህ አይነት ሲቹዌሽን ላይ ስትገቡ የምትጠቀሙትን simple sentences okay simple sentences ካወቃችሁ በኋላ you can just remember them and practice them when that moment happens ማለት ነው. so for example let's see ordering food ወይም ደግሞ booking a hotel. so when you order a food first thing you ask for the waiter is the menu right. so when you get in a hotel or a restaurant or a cafe the first thing you ask is for the menu. so menu እንዴት ነው የምጠይቀው? ኤክስትራ ነገር ብፈልግ ምንድነው የምጠይቀው? okay these are real life sentences okay so ፊልም ላይ ሊሆን ይችላል ኤኒ ላይ like ካፌ ሲገቡ ወይም ሆቴል ሲገቡ እንዴት እንደሚያዙ እሱን መያዝ okay so when you practice that you can just practice it practically መጠቀም ትችላላችሁ because you've already seen that situation in your head okay በሪል ላይፍ ባትኖርትም but in your head okay you're just pretending to be in a cafe so that way it will be much easier for you guys. so one thing you should focus on practical language is more important than just like traditional one. like traditional one I mean by that for example like present simple tense plus would plus verb 3 or something like this okay so when I focus on the form, I will like mainly focus ማድረገው perfection okay like perfect እንዲሆንልኝ grammar እንዳልሳሳት የሚለው ላይ ነው focus ማድረገው. So that will make it even harder for you guys. So to make it even okay በጣም ቀላል እንዲሆንላችሁ for speaking የምታውቁት ነገር እንዳይጠፋባችሁ okay like የምታስቡት ነገር ለማውጣት ስትፈልጉ speaking ላይ ነው focus ማድረግ ያለባችሁ. So እስካሁን okay practice shadowing technique. The third one ደግሞ pretend to be in situations. These are really helpful. Let's see the fourth tip that I have for you guys. ሌላኛው እኔ የተጠቀመኝ ደግሞ especially speaking ላይ okay ማስበው ነገር ሳልንተባተብ ወይም ደግሞ like without fear of like ብቻ nervousness ሳይሰማኝ መግለጽ የምችለው እንዴት ነው? አራተኛው ደግሞ conversational drills የምንላቸው ናቸው። እነዚህ ደግሞ ለምሳሌ let's say you went to the market. So you can say, yesterday I went to the market, which means you're telling me what you did yesterday. So these are real life conversations that you can have with your friends, with your family, anybody else in your life. So for example, let me ask you, what is your favorite food? What is your favorite food is just a simple sentence, right? So these are simple sentences that has like simple patterns that you can use for daily conversations at any situations. The last one is, like I've told you, learn phrases, not just words. So even if you know a bunch of words, but unless you know how to practically use them, they're not going to be important for you guys. So indeed, phrases you just need to learn phrases instead of words. For example, like I've told you, instead of just knowing the word have, you can just add I have to or I have. Okay, so this way you can improve your speaking ወይም ደግሞ የንግግር ክህሎታችሁን በደንብ ማዳበር ትችላላችሁ ብዬ አስባለሁ። እስኪ አሁን ደግሞ በመጨረሻ let's see some easy phrases that you can use for daily conversations. These are really easy for you guys. You can just use them at any time, okay? So, like I've told you, by the end of this lesson, you will be able to speak in a better way. So, like how can we speak better? Like I've told you, you need to catch phrases like how native says, okay? So, for example, as you guys know, how is it going is more fluent, more relaxed than how are you, okay? How are you? How are you seems a bit stressed. So in order to be fluent, you can just use this phrase, which is how is it going? So like I've told you, the fifth tip that I have for you guys, learn phrases, not just words. So the second phrase I have for you is I will get back to you. So I will get back to you is like, but በተደጋጋሚ የሚጠቀሙት okay native speakers በተደጋጋሚ የሚጠቀሙት phrase ነው. So I will get back to you meaning it means that this phrase is perfect when you are not sure about like the answer or ደግሞ መናገር ያሰባችሁትን ነገር like እርግጠኛ ሳትሆኑ ስትቀሩ I will get back to you meaning በኋላ መለሳለሁ ወደ አንተ point. Okay, I will get back to you is more professional. You can use it formally, informally with your friends ወይም ደግሞ ስራ ቦታ ላይ okay in a more professional way መጠቀም ትችላላችሁ. So for example, let's say your boss asked you about some file that you were supposed to submit and let's say you didn't find the answer for that like the file. So how can you respond to that in a more professional way? I will get back to you meaning you're saying that you will respond later. Okay, so it's very useful for workplace, for with your friends. You can use it anywhere. So this will show how in control you are of your responses ማለት ነው. The third phrase that you guys should know is I am just kidding. So I'm just kidding. If you guys like, I'm pretty sure you guys have heard it a lot, especially in movies. So these are real life sentences or phrases that you can practice daily. So I am just kidding meaning you're just like playful about something or you're not being for real about something. So you can use it casually with your friends, okay? For example, let's say you said something offensive, but it wasn't offensive for you, but like it was offensive for the other person. So how can you just brush off that hard feeling? You can just say, I am just kidding, and then just move on, okay? So for example, let's have this conversation. Let's just pretend to be in this kind of conversation. So I expect from you guys to respond to my question. So for example, let's say I had a leftover that I assumed I will eat later, but you guys, I asked you, okay, did you eat my leftover? So ያስቀመጥኩት ምግብ በልታችሁብኛል ወይ ብዬ ጠየቅኩኝ ነው. So let's say you just want to joke, okay? እየቀለድክ ወይም እየቀለዳችሁ like አዎ በልቼብሻለሁኝ ምናምን ስትሉ okay, but you actually didn't eat my food. You can say, of course I was starving. But like you're just joking, so which means I'm just joking. Okay, you can just brush it off. Or ቅድም እንደነገርኳችሁ ነው አንድ ሰው እናንተ ሳታስቡ like maybe አስቀይማችሁ ሊሆን ይችላል. Okay, so not to make a hard feeling there, you can just say I am just kidding. This is just like how native speaker communicate. So practice real life sentences that you can use like real life ላይ መጠቀም የምትችሏቸውን ሴንቴንሶች ማወቅ በእንደዚህ አይነት መንገድ ይጠቅማቸዋል። And the other thing to speak fluently rather than perfectly in English is to practice humor. Okay, when you have humor, you make your English more like relaxed, more natural. The fourth phrase that I have for you is, for example, let's say your friends want to go to a place but they don't know a place, so they're asking you to choose, but you don't actually want to be in charge of that place, so you can just be like, it is up to you. It is up to you is a phrase that native people really use often, so you can use that and you can respond in a casual way ማለት ነው. So by doing these kinds of phrases, by learning phrases, you can make it much easier for you guys to speak better in English in a more natural and relaxed way. So I hope this video was helpful for you guys. If you guys have any questions, write it down in the comment section. ይሄ ቪዲዮ እንደተጠቀማችሁ በጣም ተስፋ አደርጋለሁኝ. So እንደነገርኳችሁ to speak better, make sure to practice and don't be afraid to make mistakes, okay? So እነዚህን ቲፖች ተጠቀሟቸው. I hope they are helpful for you guys. እንግሊዘኛም ፈረንሳይኛም ሌላም ቋንቋዎች መማር ከፈለጋችሁ ስልካችን ዲስክሪፕሽን ላይ ስላለ ደውሉልን. Until next time guys. Bye bye.